I'm from Florida, and I've always really liked traveling, and I've always been fascinated about it. And I was like, so I wish I could do that as my job, but I knew that wasn't really a possibility. So I went to Florida State University, studied criminal justice, international relations, didn't really know what I wanted to do, got a 9 to 5, kind of was a bit miserable and hated my life. So I was like, you know what, I want to travel. So I'm just going to like, go do that, teach English abroad and, do that for a year. And then I'll, like scratch that itch that I have, and I'll come back and be normal again. And yeah, so 6 years later, I mean, I didn't think anything like this was going to happen. I didn't think anything like this could happen, because how do you put food on a table and put a roof over your head by just traveling? That's like not real life, right? Yeah, so when I was living in Thailand, that was my base. And then I traveled most of Southeast Asia, so Philippines, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. I lived in Australia, lived in South Africa for a bit. I've been to about like 10 countries in Europe, Jamaica, Dominica, Mexico, some places in the US. That's yeah. Yeah, so it took me about 2 years to save about 16,000 US dollars, but not even half of that went with me. I saved up 16,000 US and took 10,000 of it and paid off a bunch of debt, paid off everything that I had to pay off, last month's rent and all of these other last bits that you have to tie up. Just research everything. So like my main go-to site is skyscanner.com. I just actually worked with them on that campaign that I messed up on. It was really funny. It was really funny. I mean, everything was fine. It was only like background, my problem thing, not a problem for them or about them or anything with their site. But yeah, I usually use skyscanner.com, and like I actually wrote this post where it like explains how I use it and how I use it to find not only the cheapest flights, but like the cheapest months and the cheapest destination. So if like you're super spontaneous, the last trip I just went on, I literally was like, I'm in Florida with my boyfriend and we want to go to South Korea. Obviously, I don't buy round trip tickets. So what I do is instead of going from Florida to South Korea, since I'm not really on a time schedule, I just find out the cheapest places to get to that will eventually get me to South Korea. So I took 3 weeks to get there because I didn't care, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so. And yeah, it ended up being like $200 less than the one-way direct ticket. And I got 5 cities out of it during that month. I call it one way to everywhere because you can put like Tampa, Florida, where I'm from, and then everywhere. And then it'll show you the next cheapest. So my next cheapest was New York. And then from New York, my next cheapest was Copenhagen, and then Budapest, and then Beijing, and then Seoul. And all of those flights were cheaper than the Florida to Seoul. I had a job in South Africa. I had a job in Thailand and in Australia. And then in between those times, either I'm finding ways to eliminate most of my costs by like Helpbacks, Workaway, those like work exchange type websites. And I also work online. So that's the majority of my time I work online. I've only done Helpbacks, but Workaway is just like another version of it. And what it is you can apply for jobs. They're really like volunteer kind of positions. And so example that I did was I was living in Pai, Thailand, and I didn't have to pay for my accommodation because in exchange, I was helping this guy work at this little, I can't even call it a factory. It was a room with a bunch of Himalayan salt, and all I had to do was help him package and put a sticker on it and then help him send it. So I did that work in exchange for not paying for the really cool apartment I was living in the rolling hills of Pai with like cows and rice fields surrounding me, and it was beautiful. I've been in just Sagres, Portugal, and I've been here, it's going to be about 5 weeks. I have 1 week left, 5 weeks. And I went out and I'm seeing the area little bits here and there. Like I'm not trying to like pack my days full. Not to mention I work online, and people think that this lifestyle is a vacation. It is not a vacation at all. I actually work way more now than what I did when I was back home behind my desk working 40 plus hours a week. I have 12-hour work days sometimes for the most part here. And sometimes I'm working for a week straight and then I go have fun for a couple days, which is exactly what's happened here in Portugal. It used to be Elance and Odesk, and now it's Upwork. That's what got me started. I would say start there. oddly enough, like Facebook groups. There's like Facebook groups where sometimes jobs are posted. Even just randomly connecting people. Like I think I got random jobs off Facebook and Twitter just from like random connections, and they're like, "Hey, I need a writer for this thing," and I'm like, "Okay," So like just you just like put yourself into the community, the digital nomad community. Definitely start on freelancing websites like that. I haven't worked with Fiverr. I know that that's kind of popular. People only think that it's like for $5, but you can do work for more than $5. Yeah, it's not the easiest to get into. I'm not going to say like you'll get a job tomorrow, but like you have to get the ball rolling and like be super persistent and like continue applying for jobs. Like don't be lazy about your online profile. Just really be serious about it. And like once the ball starts rolling, those jobs start coming in. Oh, I've been putting off Central and South America because I haven't been to like, with the exception of Mexico, I haven't been to that area of the world, and I'm absolutely dying to. But like, I know I'm just gonna like stay there forever. So I want to stay everywhere forever. I haven't made it that way, and I'm dying to. I also really want to go to Antarctica. So those are like my last two continents. I want to go everywhere, literally. And not only do I want to, I know that it's possible to like work on Antarctica, and I think that that would be so cool. Like I think there's like little 3-month contracts, so like after 3 months I'd probably be like, oh my god, please remove me. But there's like random jobs you can get there to help on like science centered bases. Like not that I have any experience doing that, but I think they need people to do like regular jobs, like clean things and like cook. I like to have that little bit of experience of working in another country. And so hopefully I get to work on all 7 continents. That's kind of like a mission of mine. So yeah, that would be really cool.